Reports, and farmers across New Zealand will find out the fate of cattle infected with Mycoplasma bovis today. The government's expected to make an announcement this afternoon on whether to eradicate the disease or contain it. It was discovered in July last year. Since then, 39 farms have been confirmed as infected, with more than 11,000 cattle that have been culled as a result. The leader of the opposition is Simon Bridges. He's with us now. Good morning.
Thanks, Susie.
Would you go for eradication or containment if it was up to you?
Look, because we haven't seen the scientific reports, and I gather there are some very significant ones, it's a bit hard for me to say, look, it should absolutely be this, it should absolutely be that. I think, though, what I can say is, to me, the test is if they have a reasonable practical shot at eradication, they should still try for that, albeit with some off-ramps if they find that actually it's not working.
Can that actually be done? Has it ever been done before?
Well, no, you're right. It's hard. And I think, what people would say is the experience overseas is it hasn't been done. But, it really does come down to the science. It comes down to the advice they're getting from officials. We want to be very constructive about that and not second guess them, although we would like to see that evidence. So, we can run the ruler over that.
Is that going to be shared with you?
Look, I think it will. I had a discussion with the Prime Minister last week. Nathan Guy had a discussion with Damien O'Connor about these things. I mean, we made quite clear, let's not be political about this. It's too important. We want to be solutions oriented. So I expect to be talking with the Prime Minister later today after they've, I hope, made a decision. As I say, I think if there's a reasonable shot still, a practical shot at eradication, we should try for that.
Did National do enough when it was in government on this?
Yeah, I think we did. I mean, we found out about this in July. There was immediate lockdown. There was testing. There was international experts that came in. When we left office, there were 7 properties that were infected. I mean, I think we did a strong job. I think, the other criticism that's sometimes made is around the investment. But we were putting in some $250 million and it was going up every year into biosecurity. We took this very seriously.
So no regrets then on the way that it was handled by National?
I think what you'll see is there'll be a review, and there should be, and we'd like to play a role in that. But I'm confident that at the political level, Nathan Guy was briefing Cabinet and showing how seriously this was being taken very regularly from July when we knew about it.
Let's also talk about the poll that came out yesterday on News Hub.
Yeah.
Did you expect to be, as preferred Prime Minister, on double figures by this stage?
No, look, I think if I look at that poll, I'm very buoyed by it. It shows that under my leadership, actually the National Party is more popular than it has been, and that, this is a government that hasn't got a bounce out of being new, out of popular Prime Minister, out of, the budget where they've splurged a whole lot of money. So I feel very buoyed by it. In relation to me, look, it's very clear, I've got a job to do, to get well known, to go out there and talk to people, and also to listen what they've got to say. But it's very early days.
Someone else who is well known, though, is featuring, isn't she? Judith Collins there. Is that a threat?
Look, I think she is like a number in our caucus doing an outstanding job. And I think that's part of why, when you look at this poll overall, it shows that National's in a very strong place because we are a stronger party. People can see the breadth and the experience of the team.
So you're not worried by that?
No, look, I think overall you look at it and you say, well, actually they are a new government. They haven't got a bounce from the budget. There are people worried about the economy. People are frustrated about Winston Peters getting billions for his pet projects. Yeah, I'll take it.
But you don't think that people, National voters, are perhaps looking and saying, oh, there's someone else there, though. Maybe they could be doing the job better?
No, I think what they would say, if they look at this, is that 45% National's actually gone up a little since the election. We're in strong shape. And the government here, the governing party, despite, billions to play with, a big budget, just hasn't got a bounce.
Let's just briefly talk about abortion before you go as well. Obviously, Ireland over the weekend voting to bring that in. Do you want to see abortion taken out of the Crimes Act here?
I think my position, and this is a conscience issue for members of Parliament, is that abortion should be rare, safe and legal. I mean, you look at the situation in Ireland, and of course it was one of probably the most restrictive regime, effectively a ban on abortions. That's not where we're at in New Zealand. There's several thousand a year. So I suppose what I'm saying to you is I have not seen the case for change in this area. Overall, I think the regime we have for abortions is working well.
So you think it's okay for women to have to lie to access healthcare?
Well, I think what we want to see is abortions being rare, safe and legal. I think we do see that in New Zealand.
That's not the question I asked you, though, because that is the reality for many people, that they have to lie to access healthcare. So is it a health issue or a moral issue?
Well, no, I think, what it is a situation where we want abortions to be rare, safe and legal. I'd put the emphasis personally on rare. It'll be a conscience vote in Parliament. People can make the case. Ultimately, this is going to go to the law. It is at the Law Commission. Let's see what they say and see the case that they made. I'm simply saying to you, at the moment, with a regime in place today, where there's several thousand abortions in place, working overall, I believe, well, I don't see the case for change.
Is there any other healthcare issue that you think people should have to lie to access?
Well, no, look, I mean, that's the point you're making. I've made my position clear on overall how I see it.
You haven't actually answered that, though.
Well, I'm saying to you, if you look at Ireland, they had a situation where it was probably the most restrictive regime in the Western world. That's not where we're at.
Thanks very much for your time. Leader of the Opposition, Simon Bridges there.
Thank you.
At 19 minutes to 8.
A former CIA analyst has told a congressional committee that New Zealand's place in the Five Eyes alliance should be reconsidered because of what he claims are Labour's links to the Communist Party of China. This is Peter Mattis.